The moment you tell someone how much you've saved, you have permanently changed the price of everything in that relationship. Not metaphorically, in real, measurable, dollar-denominated terms. And here's the part that's actually going to cost you money. The bigger the number you reveal, the more expensive that revelation becomes. Not because people will steal from you, because you will change. Your spending changes, your decisions change, your identity changes, and most people don't feel it happening until they look at their accounts a decade later and wonder where the compounding went. Quick word on what this isn't. This isn't about hiding money from your partner, lying to your accountant, or some paranoid theory about people coming for your savings. That's a different, much dumber video. This is about the quiet, well-documented, behaviorally predictable mechanics by which financial visibility destroys financial growth. Quantifiable in real dollars, and almost perfectly repeatable once you understand the psychology behind it. Hold one image in your mind for the next 12 minutes, because it explains things that spreadsheets alone can't touch. A submarine is most effective, and most survivable, when nobody knows where it is. It does its best work in the dark, under pressure, invisible to everything on the surface. Surfaces, the moment it makes a sound that registers on someone else's sonar, it becomes a target. Everything that made it powerful, the stealth, the freedom of movement, the ability to operate entirely on its own terms, evaporates the instant it's detected. Your savings is a submarine. It compounds in the dark. It builds options you don't have to explain to anyone. It creates freedom precisely because it's invisible. And the moment the wrong people see a blip on the radar, everything gets harder, more expensive, and significantly less free. I'll come back to that image, because it's the most accurate metaphor I've found for how wealth actually works in a social environment. Most people call this lifestyle creep. That name is wrong, or at least it's incomplete. Creep implies something slow and barely noticeable. What's actually happening is more mechanical than that. It's a ratchet. Every visible financial upgrade, the nicer apartment, the dinner where you grabbed the check, the vacation you mentioned, the watch someone noticed, clicks the ratchet one notch forward. And here's what a ratchet does that a dial doesn't. It only moves in one direction. You can escalate. You cannot de-escalate without friction, without someone noticing, without a conversation you didn't plan to have. You have set a floor, and that floor isn't enforced by your budget. It's enforced by the people who watched you set it. Meet Jordan, mid-level project manager, $120,000 a year, genuinely disciplined, maxing their 401k, building an emergency fund, moving money into index funds every month, doing it exactly right. Then, at a friend's birthday dinner, after a couple of drinks, genuinely excited, they mention crossing $80,000 in investments for the first time. One sentence, one number. Watch what happens over the next 18 months. The friend group gravitates towards slightly nicer restaurants. Not dramatically, just consistently. Jordan, who now carries the social identity of the person who's crushing it, never pushes back. Because pushing back feels wrong when you've publicly announced you have money. The submarine surfaced. Everything that follows is predictable. Here's something that goes even deeper than social pressure. Something your own brain is doing to you without asking permission. Research from behavioral economics, the most relevant work comes from Princeton and the University of Chicago, documents what they call identity-consistent spending. The core finding: once you publicly identify as someone at a certain financial level, your subconscious starts protecting that identity. Not because you're vain, because that's what human brains do. We behave in ways that match the self-image we've broadcast. And this happens well below conscious decision-making. Here's what it looks like in practice. You mention your savings to a coworker. Now, without realizing it, you start filtering spending through a new lens. Does this choice match who I said I am? Ordering the budget option when a colleague is watching feels inconsistent with the image. Saying you can't do the group trip for financial reasons feels inconsistent. Driving a car visibly below what your social circle has assigned to you feels inconsistent. None of this is conscious calculation. All of it costs money. Conservative estimate: $350 per month in identity-consistent spending for someone with visible savings. That's rounds of drinks that felt right, hotel upgrades you didn't fight, Checks you covered because it was easier than explaining yourself. $350 per month invested at 7%, over 25 years. $340,000 in compounding you did not receive. And $350 is the conservative number. The submarine doesn't just protect you from other people's radar. It protects you from your own. In 1765, the French philosopher Denis Diderot received an unexpected windfall, payment for his personal library from Catherine the Great. The first thing he bought was a robe, a beautiful, scarlet, luxurious dressing gown, the finest thing he'd ever owned. And then something strange started happening. The robe was too magnificent for the furniture around it. He needed a desk that matched. The desk made the curtains look wrong. New curtains revealed a threadbare rug. The rug made the wall art look cheap. Within a year, Diderot had refurnished his entire apartment and was nearly destitute, despite starting with a windfall he'd never expected to have. He documented the whole cascade in an essay called "Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown." He understood the mechanism perfectly. He described it with precision, and then he kept doing it anyway, because that's how powerful the pull is. This is what financial visibility triggers. One visible upgrade expands the surface area of your life that needs to be maintained. A 2014 study in the Journal of Consumer Psychology found that people who made one visible luxury purchase were 47% more likely to make a second unrelated luxury purchase within 30 days. Not from more money, but because the first purchase changed their spending identity, and the second was an attempt to make the visible picture consistent. One click of the ratchet creates pressure on everything around it. Back to Jordan. 18 months after that birthday dinner, Jordan's net worth has barely moved. Despite continued strong income and the same disciplined savings behavior, nobody asked for anything dramatic. The ratchet just did its work. Slightly nicer dinners, social situations that felt wrong to push back on, two family situations where Jordan was quietly assumed to be the one who'd handle it. Total drain. Roughly $400 per month for 18 months, plus the compounding it would have generated. It doesn't feel like a loss. It feels like being a good friend, a generous family member, a person who's doing well and acts like it. That is exactly how the mechanism works. Now meet Sam. Same city. $115,000 per year. $5,000 less than Jordan. $75,000 saved when we meet them, slightly less on paper. But Sam tells essentially nobody. Colleagues assume Sam is responsible. Friends think Sam is careful. Nobody has a number. The submarine is running silent. At 50 years old, Jordan's net worth is approximately $780,000. Solid, genuinely good. Sam's is approximately $1,050,000. Same city. Similar income. Similar discipline. $270,000 separating them. Not from smarter investing, not from higher earnings, not from luck, from visibility. And here's what that $270,000 actually bought Sam. When a career opportunity appeared at 48, lower salary, meaningful work, real equity, Sam could take the meeting. Jordan's lifestyle floor made that call impossible to answer yes to. That is what financial silence actually buys you. Not austerity, not deprivation. The preserved ability to say yes when it matters and no when it doesn't, on your own terms. Run silent, run deep. 3 things that actually matter coming out of this. Not spend less. These are specific to the silent strategy. 1. Audit your financial visibility, not your spending. Think through the last 12 months. What have you said, posted, mentioned, or implied about your financial position to the people in your regular life? What does your lifestyle signal to someone observing you from outside? What number would a reasonable person assign to you based on what they've seen? If the answer is a pretty accurate one, you've surfaced. The immediate work isn't undoing what's already visible. You can't. It's stopping the addition of new data points. No more updates. No visible upgrades that recalibrate people's sense of your position. Let the submarine begin its descent. It takes longer than surfacing. It works. 2. Decouple your financial milestones from your social identity. When you cross $100,000, $250,000, $500,000, the instinct is to tell someone. It feels earned. It is earned. But the people best positioned to celebrate with you already have context on your finances, which means they already have the lever. Celebrate privately. Tell your partner. Write it down. The milestone is not less real because you didn't announce it. The only thing missing is the social recognition. And the social recognition is what costs you. 3. Build what I call the invisible floor. A liquid, accessible reserve that exists entirely outside of anyone else's awareness or expectation. Not your emergency fund. People can know that exists in abstract terms. This is different. This is the number you know and nobody else does. The number that means you could absorb any social pressure, any unexpected ask, any sudden opportunity, without flinching, without negotiating, and without anyone else having a vote. The person who knows they could pick up the entire check for the table, but orders from the middle of the menu and says nothing. That's not cheapness. That's a submarine that knows exactly where it is and chooses not to ping. Every system in the modern consumer economy is designed to make your financial position visible. Credit card rewards exist to get you spending and signaling. The luxury goods industry is built on the economic value of status display. Social media is, at its core, a wealth visibility machine, a platform engineered to make you broadcast your consumption so algorithms can monetize your aspirations. The advertising industry exists to create a gap between your current visible status and a slightly better version you could spend your way into. These aren't neutral systems. They are incentive machines with enormous budgets pointed directly at your psychology. Not a conspiracy. Nobody planned it in a room. But the effect is real. The submarine that survives isn't the fastest one, or the most heavily armed. It's the one nobody can find. In a world engineered to make you louder, running silent isn't just a strategy. It's the edge.